Are angels and demons real, and do they impact the world today? That is the subject of a new documentary that we have coming out next month. It drops on March 16th. It is called Investigating the Supernatural, Angels and Demons. We're looking at both angels and demons and through a scriptural lens, whether or not there is proof that they exist and are having an impact on our world. After we show you this trailer, Raj Nair and I are going to talk a little bit about the issues at play. But right now, watch the trailer for Investigating the Supernatural, Angels and Demons.
When he sat up, at the foot of the bed was this 8-foot luminous angel.
That's when I began to realize there's a connection between demons and what we see in the UFO phenomena.
And on the last beat of my heart, my spirit left my body.
Is there a spiritual war going on around us? Are angels and demons real? Let's investigate.
In all ancient cultures, people believe in a spiritual realm.
And I was struck that all throughout history, the vast majority of cultures not only believed in evil spirits, but believed in possessions.
And every major religion believes in angels.
For most of the world, the question isn't, is there a spiritual world? The question is, which spirit is the most powerful?
But to say you believe in angels, demons, is oftentimes to expose you to ridicule, like you sound like somebody from the Middle Ages.
Many scientists just write it all off, saying this is just people's imaginations, they're hallucinating, they're having dreams, none of this is real.
I kept hearing,
Stop, don't go there.
and within a matter of minutes, a bomb went off.
All of a sudden, we hear this guttural-sounding voice come out of her in the back.
Your mumbo-jumbo prayers will fail, just like they always do.
And the one from the driver's side reached over and put his hands right in the middle of the flat spot. And the one from the passenger side did the same thing. My heart started supernaturally. No CPR, no medicine.
What I uncovered changes everything. Well, I'm joined by Raj Nair. Raj, this was a really interesting film to work on for a lot of reasons, because we're dealing with a really important spiritual issue, right? We're dealing with evil and good, with angels and demons. And that question, I'm going to throw it to you, of whether or not angels and demons exist and whether or not they're impacting the world today. What say you, Raj?
Well, first off, it's not every day you get to talk to a movie star. So, thank you for allowing me into the sphere of your stardom. I'm excited to see the film. When it comes to this issue, this issue to me is something we should talk about a lot more. I've worked for certain, let's call it Christian organizations that really, really don't like talking about this issue. Really. And to me, that's just not scriptural. I think it's important for us to realize that we are not warring against flesh and blood, but that there is a war. I go to 1 Corinthians 10, verse 20. This is Paul, who writes, the majority of the New Testament. Listen to this one verse. Is this one verse? Yeah, I guess it's two verses. This is two verses. But the sacrifice of pagans offered to demons, not to God. And I don't want you to be participants with demons. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons too. You cannot have a part in both the Lord's table and the table of demons. 4 times in 2 verses. And I think here's the thing. As Christians, we should not glorify or magnify or talk a lot about the demonic, or live in fear or worry or, oh my gosh, or exorcism this or what. Because we live in the victory of Yeshua of Nazareth, who died, was crucified, buried, rose again on the third day to defeat sin and death and the works of the enemy. And now we live in peace and shalom because we have the covering of the blood of Yeshua over us. We don't have to worry. We don't have to fear. But we do have to recognize what Scripture talks about, which is the fact that we are warring in the spiritual places, not against flesh and blood, but we have to be cognizant that there are demonic and anti-God spiritual entities that are warring against people's soul, that are warring in this world. And I feel like with the release of the Epstein files and this whole UFO thing that's suddenly like kosher to talk about with Trump and Obama, that we have to realize that there is a separate and perhaps interdimensional reality that was defeated, that isn't just flesh and blood. And all throughout Scripture, this is clear from Genesis 6, when we don't have to get into the whole thing, but like this, from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, I don't know how you can get away from at least talking about it. So to me, it's not weird. It's not kooky stuff. It's hey, like, this is scriptural. This is biblical. Let's have a conversation about how we as Christians need to be salt and light to a world that is drowning in demonic stuff. I mean, it's so clear. It's so clear that the works of the enemy are the exact opposite of God, right? In the beginning, God created mankind in his image, male and female, he created them. So what does the demonic do? Just totally blast the idea of male and female. In your mother's womb, I knit you in your mother's womb. So what is the idea? There is no life in the mother's womb. Like, it's all of these anti-God things that are clearly demonic that are having a field day. And that's what we as salt and light and ambassadors of the kingdom of heaven need to push back against that darkness. And what is the darkness if not demonic? Doesn't mean we need to be overwhelmed by it. Doesn't mean that we need to glorify in it, but we need to be aware that we are co-laborers with God to push back, to bring God's kingdom. And if we're bringing God's kingdom, what are we doing? We're pushing away another kingdom, the kingdom of darkness, by bringing in the kingdom of light. So to me, I don't know where this became weird or where this became fringy Christian stuff. This is biblical in all 66 books. And so I'm excited to see your movie. I'm excited to say that I know a movie star, and his name is Billy Hallowell.
First of all, that's amazing. Second of all, this was a project, just so people understand, we went around the country and we explored cases and claims surrounding angels and demons, right? And a lot of people will say, because I love everything you just said, well, why do that? Well, we're doing that because we want to explore an important topic that is scriptural. I can tell you that there have been times I worked on a book back in 2020, it came out, and it was called Playing with Fire, and it was about this issue. And I had an easier time getting some actors and actresses in Hollywood to endorse the book than I did some pastors. And it was written through a Christian lens. I think some people really don't want to talk about this. And I will add, it is kind of crazy to me that every October Hollywood puts out all of these demonic movies, right? They're not doing it through a scriptural lens. They're not doing it through a biblical lens, but they're talking about a church topic more than some churches are willing to. And that should be convicting. And so this is going to be a really, really powerful film for people. I'm very excited. It drops again March 16th. If you want updates on this, you can actually go to cbn.com/supernatural. You can put your email address in. We'll be sending email updates before that film comes out, again, March 16th. But I do want to mention, just before we go, if you look at Ephesians 6, right, the armor of God, I'm going to just read part of it. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. That's verse 10. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take a stand against the devil's schemes. That's telling you the devil has schemes and you need to take a stand against it. It goes on in verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You are in the middle of a battle, and you cannot win that battle if you don't know you're in one. And so there's a lot here to unpack, and I'm looking forward to people checking out the film March 16th. That's all for today's Newsmakers. Tune in next week for another episode.